Welcome to Moonlight Madness, and today we're doing this reading for Earth sign, Sun, Moon and Rising. The decks I'll be using are 3 decks. Work with Your Light, Oracle deck by Rebecca Campbell, artwork by Danielle Noel. It's almost like a decoupage if you look at it. The second deck is this Enchanted Map by Colette Baron Reid, and it's a 54 Oracle deck. And I'm just going to clean that a bit, but like I said, the actual tarot readings I'm doing is for Doreen Virtue and Radley Valentine, illustrations by Howard David Johnson. That's the reason I picked the actual deck. The first card I pulled is the Eight of Pentacles, and it shows a little girl sitting with her grandmother while she's teaching her a skill like creative making blankets or sewing. You may have a grandmother who likes to sew or knit or crochet. I know I've got one, and she's a very good knitter and crocheter, and she used to knit everything that I wore when I was a little girl, even though I had allergies to wool. So I didn't wear it. I'd have to wear a skivvy underneath it because my skin would get irritated and I'd just itch and scratch myself to pieces, but I didn't want to offend her. So I used to wear that over something else, something that would have to go underneath it that wasn't wool. It had to be cotton. I was a very sensitive child. I was always sick. I remember always having temperatures, fevers, problems with my teeth. I was just a sick kid. And this went on for years, not till I get to about 8 or 9 did they stop. But I had constant nightmares, and I used to be woken up from them, and I was sleepwalking the age of 7, and 2 to 7 I was sleepwalking. Little did I know I was getting future impressions and future visions of what was to come. I had a monster that was following me and chasing me when I was 2, and I was trying to get away from it. And that was my fear. And I feared anyone with a beard. I hated Santa Claus because I couldn't see his face. So I guess I had this kind of premonition about what was going to happen to me as a child, which I won't go into detail, but I'm still working through. But yeah, so you're going to be doing some research on people, places and things, enrolling in a form of study or being paid for high quality work, long-term projects, seminars, furthering education. Some of you may be on an online teaching parapsychology or teaching psychometry or clairsense. I probably can't pronounce that right, but it's basically sensing energy or sensing energy in a home or what's coming towards you. And you can sometimes, when you're very sensitive like myself, you can sense something coming 20 years before it occurs. I once met someone who didn't tell me that he was previously with her, and she'd left him and went on to have a baby with someone else. But I sensed her energy, and I tore his room up looking for some evidence of what I'd seen in a vision. It turns out there was this photo that he'd hidden from me when I was visiting in an overseas country of this woman with this baby, and immediately I thought, he's married, he's lied to me. And I called him out on it, and he pretended, he tried to shoo it away and smooth it over, and I just went, no, this is not right. I knew that something was off with him, but I just didn't know what it was. And so 20 years later, I walk into Lifeline and I start volunteering there. And there's a girl that looks exactly like the one in the photograph, and I asked her, her name was Shelby. I said, do you have a sister that looks just like you, that is in another country, like America? And she said, yes. And I said, I've met her. And I had a premonition about her. And then I met you. So I think she was a twin. But I'd sensed it, and that was kind of weird. I was 20 years to the letter. And she was just struck in awe. She just couldn't believe what I'd seen and how far in the future I'd seen it. And that's kind of what I do. So you're going to be attracting cards to your esoteric aura sensing. You may sense a card and then pick it out because that's your energy. Whatever's going on with you right now, you've got a twin energy, a Gemini energy. I'm getting like a twin flame, or someone who's like a double of you, or looks like you, or you may have a twin sister you don't know about. You're going to find out you have one. I was told many years ago by this same person, the reason he liked me is because I looked like Drew Barrymore back when I was young. And I kind of went, what? Because, she's someone I really admired Drew Barrymore. I was a big fan of hers. And when he showed me the picture of the guests campaign, I think there was one, my hair was kind of like that when he met me. I kind of looked like her because I really admired her, and I also liked Madonna. But besides the point, I used to call myself Drew Kelly. So it's kind of interesting how he was like so enamored because I looked like her. So there you go. So a twin energy is around you. You may have someone who's a Gemini. In this guy was a Gemini. So it's saying here, you have a Seven of Pentacles crossing your path. This is the guy sitting on his pumpkins waiting for them to hatch, waiting for them to grow. And he's excited because he's accumulated quite a lot of them. He's growing a big crop. He's waiting for the harvest. But it's saying the best treasures need investment of time and patience. If you stare at a tomato plant hoping it will grow, it's not going to grow. Or if it does, it's minute and you won't even realise it's grown. You may miss the first leaves sprouting, and soon your harvest will come in as you wait for your goals to come in. Improvements and adjustments can be made to your process. Second time around, maybe your relationship will work better the second time around. Again, a 2 number. I got that this crystal is also from Rainbow Runner in Hamilton, New South Wales. So I put that here for the Ace of Swords because that's the beginning of the winter months. This is Aquarian, Gemini, Libra energy. It's the first, it's number 1 of the, I guess, how would you say, in lineage, if you were to describe an air sign, the oldest air sign is an Aquarian, so they've got a lot of knowledge. And then it goes, Aquarius, Libra is the teenager, and then Gemini would be the baby of the zodiac. So if you have Gemini in your chart, or you know a Gemini, then the Ace of Winter will come up for you if you have Aquarius energy as well, because Aquarius is the first, the grandfather of all the swords, all the air signs. So that's what that's talking about as well. It says, and here's another Aquarian energy. This is a tower. A tower moment may have just happened, or you may have had a wake-up call. And it can talk about, you may have had a giant wake-up call, a tower moment where you were confronted with your own mortality, the vehicle that transports your soul around. You may need to look after your health more, or decide to detox the body of your heart of toxic things or people. You may have a wake-up call from a prophetic dream that is so vivid, and then it happens weeks later. Exactly what happens to me. It can also talk about, unexpected change, an unexpected move into a new job, or into a new house, or to a new relationship is just like out of the blue. And then we've got, in the recent past, you've got the moon. The moon is a powerful sign. It usually represents the Piscean. You may have Pisces in your chart. So the moon is a psychic medium who predicted an engagement or several engagements before the one arrives. An emotional or mental and physical breakdown may have occurred due to you pushing yourself too hard. You may have fallen in love with a Pisces, and they created an illusion, or worked in the film industry. I used to have an ex-partner that worked in the film industry. I won't say what area, but that's something I don't want to talk about. Future. This is the future, and it's talking about the Queen of Cups. Water energy, crowning you. So I meant to say, so with the crowning energy, the Ace of Swords, that's the outcome. New ideas may be downloaded from Spirit in your slumbering hours. So she's downloading. See the crystal above her head? That's why I've got a crystal on the card. She's downloading from Spirit. And I had a vision about a friend of mine who I used to be really good friends with, worked in pharmacy with, and I saw her, and she was at Byron Bay, and she was living in a dormitory situation with all these rooms, and she tries to see me by peeking at me half dressed, and I feel overexposed, trying to hide my body. And sometimes too, when you have those rooms where you're naked, it's because you feel vulnerable and you don't want to expose who you truly are. You may be in a group therapy session with a place that you're doing some group therapy, and you have to be vulnerable, and that's a really uncomfortable place to be if you're not used to opening up, or putting on a brave face, or a poker face, or you don't discuss your private life because it's just too much. It's like if you have a Scorpion energy, I've got Scorpio in my chart heavily. We are the ones that hide our inner child. We hide ourselves because we are so protective of our own self, our own feelings. And if we have to open up and be vulnerable, that is like it's like you're cracking open your heart and then it's bleeding out. That's how I call it. It's overflowing. It's like when you have a pot on the stove and you're boiling until it just overflows. The cup runneth over is what I'm getting. So with you have to be careful at how much you let out. And if you feel vulnerable, you may want to hide. You may want to go back into your shell, into your Scorpion dark place, so you can hide all that emotion and bottle it up again and until it pours out again. So if you don't take it off the stove, then it'll boil over. Okay, then you've got Queen of Summer, water sign in the future. This is a Pisces, Cancer, Scorpion energy. Again, Scorpio's heavily in the charts. And see how the sunflowers have all turned their face towards her because they want to get some attention from her. Possibly you're giving out your attention to many people and not taking enough time for yourself to get well. And that can cause burnout. And if you're a community nurse, like I am, would be considered a community nurse, if you're doing all that, I guess, inner work with someone who's not able to open up to another counsellor, then they're opening up to you and you're trying to help them with the skills and the toolbox you've got from all the group work you've been doing, then you're going to burn out. And so it says to keep a little bit for yourself, not to give everything, because then you've got nothing left for yourself. So in the future, a water sign is around you, and he could be older, not in age, but in life experience. So they have had a similar journey to you, channeled messages, foreigner. I got this morning. I had to mention this song. I want to know where love is. I want to know what love is. I want you to show me. You could be in love with a foreigner who has never met anyone that they've fallen in love with, who may have met you on foreign shores. They were visiting here from another country because they're on a tour of duty, and you may have fallen in love and they fell in love, and it was only meant to be just a summer love, like summer loving, like in Greece. But you fell hard. You both fell hard, and maybe one of you was attached or engaged, and you hadn't, both of you didn't know. Well, sorry, one of you didn't know the other was engaged and found out years later that they were seeing two people, one from home soil and one from another foreign shore. And you could have been soulmates in a previous life. Your families may have known each other since the 1800s. It goes back to the 1800s. They may have ancestors that lived here where you met. It's like fate drew you together, and then you had to go back to your country because you were betrothed. It's just really sad. It's like unfinished business is what I'm getting. Yeah. And yeah, and then we've got the Two of Cups. Well, it may come back around a second time. There may be a second chance. Maybe they've divorced or gone through something where they've gone through a death. And so now they're single and they know that you're single. Somehow they know you're single. Maybe they're following you on social media and you don't even know it. So I got two cards that came out of two different decks. I got the Two of Cups, which is to do with romance and love. So I've put the love crystal rose quartz on there. This is courting, this is romance, this is asking for your hand in marriage. Two hands, shown hands twice. You could have a strong placement in Cancer. I have a strong placement in Cancer. And so you may like to do your nails, you could be a hand model because you've got really nice shaped fingers, or you may decide to embellish your fingers. You may have artistic fingers, and you may draw if you've got a Piscean element in your chart as well. So it's saying here, Two of Cups is falling in love, making commitment, second time round, so a second marriage for one of you, getting engaged or equal partnerships, forgiveness and ending a disagreement. Two hearts become one, and a moment of true romance. And so today, about 2 years ago, 23, 22, 21, it would have been 2021, I found out the year before that one of my ex-boyfriends had passed away in a car accident. And I had no idea. I found it out on Facebook because I didn't have Facebook. I was homeless at the time, and I didn't have access to a computer, and I didn't even think of him, or I haven't thought of him in years. And then I get this thing that come up on my Facebook profile to say he had died in a horrific car accident. An accident it was near Christmas time, and I thought, that's terrible. And I thought, I wonder if he'll visit me, because he knew I was psychic. Him and I both were very psychic, and I thought, how will he show me a sign that I'm thinking of him and he's thinking of me? And how will he communicate to me that he remembers that we used to love each other? We almost got married. He was going to propose, and I didn't trust him because he had a little boy to another girl in Sydney, and he didn't trust me because I had 2 kids from a past relationship. So it was really hard to start that relationship, because we had all these 2 exes that were quite jealous of our relationship and tried to come in between us and tried to break it up. And he had issues with addictions. I had issues with addiction at the time. And so we had a lot of common problems, and that's what made me sort of stray, because I just didn't trust him. And I ended up with somebody else, and he found out about it, and we ended the relationship. It was really hard. But we had this common bond. And anyway, he came through in 2021 to me around my birthday. I think it was like 3 days after my birthday, in a vision, because I was hallucinating back then, because I was where I lived, everyone was doing things they weren't supposed to, and it affects me. I go off and I start to see visions. So anyhow, long story short, he came through to me as a person that had died. Like, he came through to me to open the bus, to help me off the bus. And it was awful, because I could see, I won't go into detail, but I could see that he was dead, right? But he was coming at me, and I thought, oh my God, and I was so freaked out. I can remember being so freaked out. But that was his way of coming through to say, happy birthday, I'm thinking of you in heaven. And today I got a phone call from a place that I've been doing some work on myself, self-development for my past and my issues. And she told me about a job, a company, who the owner's name was called Matthew. That was my sign. And so I had to think about that and realize that they were trying to tell me these messages. So allow yourself to be loved, and to love if partnership feels strained. Do not give up on it. Continue to work through the issues. Love still lives in both hearts. So it's saying love still lives in both hearts. Do not give up on it. Continue to work through the issues. And it's saying you can have a second time around. This could be a second time around, second go around the idea of marriage and being engaged. For you, it could be the 6th time getting engaged. For me, it'd be like my 5th time of being engaged. 6 of autumn, because I placed a lot of importance on what that psychic told me a long time ago. I'd be engaged 4 times. She was right. She was correct. 6 of Pentacles is to do with giving back to society, doing volunteer work. You may decide to balance between giving and receiving, sharing success that you are blessed with as you give to those in need. Heaven gives back to you. Giving does not have to be money, time, effort. Listening may need your time as a volunteer. Perhaps you have excellent advice or could provide instruction or experience on like a YouTube channel, like what I'm doing here. Okay, so then you've got here a King of Pentacles, which is to do with Taurus energy. Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo energy. So the dream I had about my friend, she's actually a Taurus. She's on the cusp of Capricorn and Sagittarius. I always got her as a Capricorn. She had moments of Sagittarian energy, like she just liked to have fun and laugh and that, but she was very responsible. So I kind of got her. She was older beyond her years in how she behaved, whereas I used to act, immature. I was quite immature for my age. I still don't act my age. I've got Gemini in my chart. So we're the big kids. So why I put the crystal, this is actually an earring my son gave me. It's representing the green emerald, because Taurus energy is emerald. That's their birthstone. So there's that. So the King of Pentacles is a generous. It's just your hopes and fears. Your power is what you like to give back to people. That's your power. The 6 of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles is hopes and fears. You're hoping for someone who is generous, compassionate, employer, a natural business sense, a thriving career, but you may find that this odd bird, it has the Midas touch. everything he touches turns to gold. But then by doing that, remember the old fable where Midas touched his daughter and she turned to gold and he lost his daughter. So you can manage hundreds of people at once and still take out the recycling. Charming to a fault, they will help anyone who gets hurt. The animal, and you'll find yourself, if you hurt an animal, find yourself on their bad side, and you don't want to be on that. They're constantly busy. They're either at the office, on the road, at a protest march. They're on their road, but they are a workaholic, and they can burn out if they're not careful. They're just like the Queen of Cups. Then you've got Ace of Pentacles. This is the top of the card. This is the honey tree. This is like the gold coin. Some of you could be real estate. You may be a real estate agent, or you've studied real estate, or you may want to buy your first property. It's saying it is a buyer's market right now because the sellers want to get out and they want to get rid of the problem, and so that way they can get the money and get rid of the mortgage. Or you may be selling a home. So it's saying here, investing in real estate, a successful venture, a happy change of career, a windfall of unexpected resources arrives to help you with your dreams. Manifesting is what us fade peeps do. It could be money or wise counsel. Physical help with a project or someone who can introduce you to very influential people. Use your resources wisely. Make a plan of how you can best utilize them successfully, for your thoughts have turned to long-term goals. So that's what I have for you. Now, I also have the Oracle cards, and I needed to know whether you're going to say yes or no to this proposal. I've got a yes or no card here. This is from the Work Your Light Oracle card. Or you're going to say no. You're going to turn this person down. So somewhere you're not forgiving them for what they did, for what they may have lied about to you, and you're going to say no. So if they were to ask, will you marry me? You would say no. You may want to say yes, but you're going to say no. And maybe they have to ask you again, or wait to ask you. Maybe you're still working through your issues and you're not ready to let another person in right now. So they have been, at the moment it's a no, but it could be in fact a yes later on. Because the Two of Cups is my yes card. So the no could turn into a yes at a later date, maybe in 6 months' time when you've worked through all your other problems. Don't dim to fit in. This is a good card. This talks about, this is Pisces energy. You are dimming your light in order to fit in. Don't dim your light to accommodate someone else's smallness. We are all born to shine big and bright. The universe is expanding, and you are part of the universe, so expanding is part of your nature. If someone makes you want to retract, notice and slowly back away. They are not for you and you are not for them. Better yet, find it within yourself to expand and shine your light anyway. Flowers don't open and close according to who is walking by. They open and show their beauty regardless. If you don't want to be around you, if others don't want to be around you, or you make them uncomfortable, it's because you are shining light on the fact that they are dimming to fit in. By choosing to shine bright, you may inspire them to turn on their light too, or not. Keep your light on anyway. All relationships are essentially an energetic agreement. The moment one person decides to start rising up and allowing their light to shine, it changes their energetic agreement, and it can create some waves that's completely normal. The relationships that are meant to last will adapt to the change in energy. Others won't, because they were likely born under the proviso of I love you as long as you don't shine brighter than me. That's okay. Not all people are meant to be in your life forever, but the lessons they teach us can still live on. So you may have problems with someone who's jealous of your light, because you may be glowing up because you are currently doing well, because you're getting help that you need, and therefore your light is pure. And you may not even put makeup on because you're not well. I didn't put a scrap of makeup on till the afternoon today, and your skin looks really good because you've been detoxing or eating healthier foods. Better, it says, where in your life do you need to establish boundaries? Where do you need to establish better boundaries? Are you being called to create clearer boundaries in your life? This could be your friends, family, or work. Saying yes when you really mean no. No leads to resentment, and which is the biggest energy drain ever. At first it can only be a little bit and not feel like a big deal, but before you know it, your energy field becomes porous and you are left feeling depleted, resentful, or taken advantage of. Saying no and having clear boundaries is actually a spiritual act. The most giving, loving, compassionate people are those with the clearest boundaries, for when they say yes, they're able to give unconditionally. So I've been doing this course that says you can say yes, but you also have the right to say no. If you say yes when you really mean no, you feeling taken advantage of, you are likely needing something yourself. Ask them. It could be a need for approval, a fear of being a certain way, a fear of loss. The best way to gauge your boundaries is to check in with your belly. Your belly is the second brain. It has an intelligence known as your gut feeling. Tune into this space when deciding what is okay for you. How does it feel? What is it trying to communicate with you? So when you're, this is actually a beauty therapy term, but you'll understand when I talk about it. When you are unsure or scared of a situation, your stomach will growl. That's because it's setting off a gland. It's called a vagus gland, and it's in your stomach, and it's an emotional gland that causes things like car sickness, motion sickness. I had it all my childhood. I just didn't trust anyone driving because I wasn't in control. If I had have been able to drive the car, I would have known that it was safe. When I get into a car with someone, I don't usually trust their driving. I rarely get into cars with people because I know if I was driving, I'm a very, very safe driver. I don't speed. I don't go through red lights. I use two hands to steer the car. I don't take unnecessary risks. I don't go through red lights, green. I just do green lights. And I'm always keeping a really safe distance because I have had, things in the past when I was young and stupid, and I used to, play with death as far as speeding and things like that. I won't do that anymore. So I don't know if you're under the influence of something. I'm not going to get into a car if I don't know if you're actually sober or free of any type of substance. That's why I don't get into cars with people. I don't want to feel controlled like that. I don't like the feeling of not being safe. So we have 47, the Sacred Pool. Now this card is from the deck, The Enchanted Map by Colette Baron Reid, and it's basically backing up the last card in the past, which is the Moon. How something looks one way in one set of light and different in another set of light. It's also talking about illusions. The world is a reflection of your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. Embody the love you wish to see in the world. When you look into the mirror, do you like what you see? The Sacred card asks you that you focus on self-love and self-esteem. We are all works in progress, so a detached self-examination made with a rigorous honesty is called for now. Reflect by the Sacred Pool and be at peace with yourself. Can you see how far you've come and how magical your life is? Do you notice the spark of the divine shining through your eyes? When you're conscious and you're the embodiment of spirit, it becomes easier to respect yourself and act in good conscience. Then you'll reap the rewards. Your unique service to the world is not only needed but celebrated. See the love within you and know that if you cast it upon the waters, it will return to you tenfold. Be at peace, for you are beautiful and loved. Act with surety and confidence, and success shall be yours, whatever your inquiry. So possibly you may need to go near water, a body of water, and make a wish. Toss a coin in a fountain, because that's the water energy, and the reflection of the coin. I usually do silver coins because silver is associated with the moon or with water, and silver is also a feminine energy. So we're trying to attract that feminine energy. Gold is more masculine. I tend to wear silver jewelry because I like silver because it balances out my masculine energy. We have both male and female energies. Wide open is 42. Because if you're really male, you're quite masculine, you may need to soften that a bit, up a bit, so you're not so aggressive. All manner of opportunities are being presented to you at this time. The wide open is saying that you've got life's endless possibilities. It's a signal you're able to truly manifest your dreams and that your goals are in sight. Don't remain small. Again, don't dim your light. And in contracted, instead expand your horizons beyond what you believe to be your limitations. You have a unique voice that needs to be expressed in the world. The universe is supportive of new ideas and approaches at this time, so speak up and speak out. This card is the sign of the maverick who freely roams the wide open space of possibility. Allow for a greater vision to replace old ideas as you dream a grander dream. And that's all I have for you for today. I hope this has been a help to someone out there that's a earth sign, Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus energy. You may have Taurus heavily placed in your chart because I don't see any Virgo cards here. I see mainly, I see Taurus cards, and I see possible Capricorn cards with the workaholic. And that's all I have. So if you like this video, just don't forget to like it and share it. And my email address is kellyhardiman28@gmail.com. I don't know how I'm going to get it to you just yet. I don't have a computer. I can maybe send it via email, but then I don't know. I'd have to give you an account that's not linked to my other account. It's just for that. I'll give the details if you email me. Okay, thank you. I am $60 for 60 minutes. Or $30 for 30 minutes, which is what I've just done. I usually do 30-minute readings. It's just quicker. You don't really need to go into channeling unless there is a specific thing I will channel. It may take longer, so I can't really give you a predetermined time. It depends on what I channel and how much I then channel, and then how much it takes to then record it.